Welcome back to another episode of the Talk Your Shit Sports Podcast. I'm David Braid. I'm here with the highlight reel, my man, highlight reel P. P, tell him what's up, man.
What's going on? What's going on? Welcome back, guys. Thank you for tuning in to last week's episode, man. We're here for another one, D, man.
Let's lock in, yo. We're here for another one, man. Before we get started, you already know how we do, y'all. Go ahead and subscribe to the Talk Your Shit Sports Podcast YouTube channel. You want to catch all our content, all our hot takes, all our commercials. Go ahead and lock in our special edition shows, man. Go ahead and lock in on our YouTube channel. That's the Talk Your Shit Sports Podcast YouTube channel. Follow us on IG right now. Go on IG right now and follow us right now at Talk Your Shit Sports Podcast. It's lit over there on that platform. You already know how we get down. We keep it lit. We keep it, we engage with our fans, our supporters. So go ahead and lock in with us. You can follow us on Facebook at Talk Your Ish Sports Podcast, Talk Your Ish Sports Podcast over on Facebook. You can find us on Anchor, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Lock in with us, man. The Talk Your Shit Sports Podcast, you already know, is lit. This is our platform where we leverage our love for sport while highlighting the journeys of current and former athletes, trainers, and coaches. So with all that further ado, y'all, it's Black History Month, so we gotta lock in. It's a special occasion. As we all know, Black history is American history, and our Black history is world history. So so we're here to celebrate the amazing contributions of athletes on and off the field, no matter what. And we celebrate, if you don't know why we celebrate Black history, we celebrate Black history so that we can honor our ancestors, honor our historic leaders and their contributions to the community and the sacrifices, that they made, the endurance that they had to exude, due to the suffering, that they had to navigate to get all the rights and freedoms and economic privileges that we have today. So we celebrate Black history as a means to inspire the next generation of future athletes. So P, let's lock in, man. So tell the people what Black history is for you, man.
What Black history means to me, man, it means Malcolm X, Ali, Fred Hampton, Marcus Garvey, power. You know what I mean? That's what Black history means to me. You know what I mean? And that's something that all those guys exude, just power, leadership. You know what I mean? And that's what Black history should, like I said, that's what it means to me.
That's real. So Pete, man, we talk about so many athletes, all the time on here, but we want to highlight some, especially want to acknowledge some very influential ones and why they were so influential. Some are more famous than others, because there's just a vast list of just Black talent, Black and Latino talent all across the different sports, all across the different major sports around the world. So let's jump in. What you got?
One Black athlete that I definitely want to highlight, and I mean, some would know him, someone won't know him, the godfather of free agency. If you're not familiar with him, his name is Curt Flood. Curt Flood played in the major leagues for about 12 years. He was a guy that really exercised the right to be a free agent, because if you're not aware, back then you would play out your contract, and another team would offer you a contract, and you are forced to play for that team. But Curt Flood was like, forget all that, fuck all that. I want to be a free agent. I want to be able to exercise my right to play wherever I want to play at. I've been, like, for instance, let's say I've been playing in Philadelphia all this time. I'm trying to get some warm weather. I'm trying to play in California, Texas, Florida, and Curt Flood was a godfather of that, and he lost his career for a couple of years because of that, and he was the one that opened the doors for these free agents like the LeBron James going to Miami, KD going to Golden State, and all these other free agents, not only in baseball but in all across sports, Major League, NFL. Hockey, you name it. He's the godfather of free agency. Who you got there?
Super lit. So my first influential athlete, for many don't know, is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, also known as Lou Alcindor, 7'2" center. He scored the most points in NBA history at 38,387 career points. And as we all know, we have the greatest players in the world that to this day continue to uh, chase this amazing feat and try to, break his record. Um, he won his first title in 1971, and for those that don't know, after this his first NBA championship is when he changed his name, and when he converted to Islam, and he changed his name to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And for those that don't know, it's an Arabic name, and its meaning is the noble one, servant of the Almighty. So adopting this powerful name in the spirit and in essence of Islam during that time in the early 1970s, in being the best player on the best team in one of the major sports was just historic.
Mm-hmm.
And this at the time, coming out of the 60s, there was still a lot of turmoil. MLK, Malcolm X, Kennedy. So there were a lot of assassinations and murders, and just the attack on Black America was quite evident. And it was just very dangerous and violent for not only just regular, not only for Black athletes, but for the Black community. So for him to do that, and for him to step up and become, a civil rights activist, while even before he got to the pros, while he was in college, was just mind-boggling, and it just was never done before. If you've ever heard Kareem Abdul-Jabbar speak, then you know that this man is someone who speaks his mind. He loves all people. He loves humanity, and he speaks up for the right things. In terms of our civil rights, our human rights, our need and our need to be respected as men, regardless of what color we are. Our need to be understood that we're going to take up space, and that we have our community has successful folks that can speak up, and that we can navigate this American system when given a fair shot. So his greatness early on, what he did was monumental. Now, if you don't know, he's also a best-selling author. There aren't too many athletes that are best-selling authors, but he's definitely one of them. And he sold his best book back in 1983. So in the realm of sports, some may consider him the greatest of all time. I think in a lot of conversations nowadays, because I'm 31, so when we're talking about the greatest of all times, we're talking about the Michael Jordans, the LeBron Jameses, the Kobe Bryants. Even now, we're talking about the Steph Currys and the Tim Duncans. So like the Shaqs of the world. So people always forget, man. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was it. He was that guy. He was a bucket. The sky hook. I mean, he was famously known for the sky hook because he couldn't be touched, bro. In the post, 10 feet from the basket, and he was just a beast, bro. And I just want to honor and salute him today.
That was dope. That was definitely dope, man. Now, he was definitely a bucket. He was a problem. He was definitely a problem.
I forgot to mention, man, but people forget, man. Like he got rings too. He got a lot of hardware. He's a 6-time NBA champion, 19-time All-Star, 10-time All-NBA first team selection. The dude is just not to mention the league's all-time leading scorer at 7'2".
Right. But don't forget, he was the number one recruited player coming out of high school into college. He got some rings in college in Westwood.
Mm-hmm.
So again, he's been winning.
UCLA. Yeah, man. And the biggest thing, Pete, I can't believe I forgot this, Pete. And this is a tremendous honor. I think we forget that our guy, after Obama got in the office, man, there were so many things that had to be done, and one of the things that had to be done, bro, was presenting this man for all his contributions across sport and culture and social justice. Not only was he presented this by by our 44th president, our favorite president, Barack Obama,
Right.
had presented him with the Presidential Medal of Honor.
Mm.
And for those who don't know what the Presidential Medal of Honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom, sorry, excuse me, Medal of Freedom is it's the highest honor that you can give to a citizen in the United States. So a salute to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
No, man, that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. But I'm gonna go a little younger on my second
Let's get it.
my second person I want to highlight and I definitely want to honor. It's Naomi Osaka. She's a tennis player. In the midst of the violence that was going on during 2020, like she was fearless, man. Like she used her platform to tennis because it was I forgot what tournament she was playing in, but it was a nationally tournament.
Was it the U.S. Open or the French Open?
Wimbledon. It could have been the
Wimbledon?
U.S. Open,
Okay.
but she was wearing her mask, and on her mask she had Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and everybody that's been passing away. And I was like, yo, that shit's dope, man.
Mm-hmm.
That shit's dope, and it's everybody that knows tennis it's a white sport, so she forced everybody to see what was going on in the Black community, and for her to use that platform at such a young age. Like I just found that dope, and I was just like, yo, I definitely have to, highlight her, and shout her out because she was in the midst of the fire, and she was just like, fuck that, I'm just gonna stand for my people and just make sure that everybody knows that what's going on.
How old is she?
I want to say she can't be no older than 24.
Mm.
She's real young. She's real young, and she's doing her thing on the tennis court.
Right.
I mean, I believe she's top 5 right now.
Right. She's lit because I remember she beat Serena to get to one of the championships.
Yeah, she beat the GOAT.
She beat Serena to get to the Wimbledon, I think, and she had won the Wimbledon last year or the year before. But she is definitely dope, man, and it's so dope to see like the changing of the guard in tennis. Don't get me wrong, Serena's still a beast. I mean, she's still a beast. She's in her own league, and we know what she can do when she's at her best. So we never count her out. She's always considered number one. But to see Naomi Osaka do her thing, I think she's with her dad's Haitian and her mom's from Japan.
I think. Yeah. Yep.
If I'm not mistaken. So just to see that, bro, like giving young women of color, that vision to see themselves, like even at this generation, for like for those who haven't been able to watch Serena, for those young ladies to see Naomi go out there and grind it out all across the world in these different, renowned tournaments. It's just dope. And even me, like I try to, watch as much as possible when I can, because you realize like, yo, there's only one of a few of us doing that. So let's give her flowers and support.
Especially in tennis, you know what I'm saying? Especially in tennis. So when you see a Serena, and like you just said, the changing of the guard to another queen, is just like, yo, we have to, ride with her and just make sure and support her. I mean, because it's a sport that we're not the majority in.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but to see one of our our people go out there and dominate, it's like you definitely have to tune in whenever they're playing.
Right. So lit. So yeah,
what you got?
To keep it rolling, last but definitely not least, is for those who don't know, the Say Hey Kid.
Hey Kid.
Willie Mays, man, and he's arguably, most known as the best all-around baseball player in baseball history.
I call him. He's a definition. If you was to put 5'2" player in a dictionary and you put a picture, that's the Say Hey Kid, man.
So yeah, it's so lit. So For those who don't know, center fielder is one of three outfield positions. If you don't know, go look it up. I'm not going to explain it to you, but it's a pivotal defensive. Is one of the most important positions on the baseball field.
I'm glad you know that.
Wow. So it's pivotal that you have a good center fielder, because if you don't, you're going to lose all the games until you're able to get some other help to come help you win. But I digress. But the one of the most amazing stats, amazing things that you can accomplish on the field in any given game is throwing somebody out. It's one of the most exhilarating plays and across sports, man. And your man, the Say Hey Kid, had the most throwouts, putouts in MLB history, and it's still, and the record still stands today. So if you tried to tag home or tag or advance the second or advance the third,
no advancement with that guy.
Odds are that you weren't going to be successful. So the Say Hey Kids had 7,095 career throwouts from center field, and that's the most of any outfielder. And just imagine how many outfielders have come through the major leagues over the last 100 years.
All time, right? That's
of all time. So the man was it, man. And then offensively at the plate, many would argue, and like I've had to go back and watch some film of him, man. And it was just amazing how athletic, how he was just before his time. And it wasn't just that, bro. It was the skill, it was the preparation, and you saw it. And it was like he went out there every day, and he just had this dog mentality, man. You could just see it through, like you can see it through the film. If you go on like YouTube and just watch the film, man, like he was really it. He was a 5'2" player, wow. He's a 5'2" player, and like ever since then, organizations have been trying to find the next Willie Mays, the next 5'2" player.
Right.
The closest thing today that we can get to a 5'2" player is Mike Trout, Acuna, what's my guy from Houston, the shortstop P.
I don't consider him a 5'2" player. That's
What's his name? Come on, man, baseball's your sport, bro.
No, it is.
Correa. That's my guy. He's arguably, a 5'2" player in the league. So, and that comes far and very few in between, man. The guys who are just able to really put it all together on the field, man. And when these special athletes come around, in any generation, it's very noticeable because their greatness shines. And Willie was no stranger to the spotlight back in the day. He played for 22 seasons in the MLB during Jim Crow, even before Jim Crow. So it was just amazing for him to achieve what he achieved on the diamond, hitting for average, 302. And for those who don't know, if you hit 300, if you're hitting over 300, then you're an all-star. Right. So he did this over a career average. He averaged this over a 22-year MLB career, man. And at one point he was the home run. At some point, no, actually, no. I'm going to say that he wasn't the home run king, but he was one of the only few black baseball players in general to hit over 650 home runs. Right. He ended his career with 660. And the man, P, I know you're gonna rock with this because the man has speed. The man has speed on the base pads, man. And he was out there robbing pitchers and catchers, bro. He was out there taking bases.
Yeah.
He was out there taking bases, man. He had four stolen base titles during his 22-year career. So the man was moving. You know what I mean? And there was a strategy behind that. So a lot of people if you don't understand baseball, you have to understand, like, it's not just, you picking a time to run. Like, no, you got to know you got to know the pitcher.
You want to be the fastest.
Right. It's technique. It's preparation. You got to be fearless. You know what I mean? You got to be fearless, and like you have to have have some mental and baseball IQ in order to execute this. Because again, shortstops and second basemen are some of the most highest, and pitchers and catchers are some of the most highest paid players on the field. So you're going up against the best every pitch, and he was out there getting it done.
Right.
Out there getting it done, man.
I mean, arguably, to me, if I was to rate them as favorite center fielders, it'll be the Seihei, the kid, Ken Griffey Jr., and Andrew Jones as one of my favorites.
AJ was no slouch. AJ was no slouch, man. But these numbers that Willie put up was just, astronomical, P. His resume, I mean, you can stack his resume up against anybody's, man. And 12 Gold Glove awards, P. 12. And back then, when he played in the 50s and 60s, they had 2 All-Star games a year. A lot of people, it's a little gym. They had 2 All-Star games a year. So between 1959 and 1962, he was at every All-Star game. Even before that, he was at every All-Star game. He had, in total of his 22-year career, he had 24 All-Star appearances. Guys was like, we have an All-Star game. We're trying to get this money. Yo, where's Willie? Yo, Willie, come play some.
Right. Come shag some flies for us, bro.
Shag some flies. Yeah, man. And after he ended his career, man, and without any doubt, without any argument, he was first ballot Hall of Famer, 1979. Have you ever been to Cooperstown yet? Yep, Hall of Fame. Oh, you got to go, P. It's amazing. Absolutely. That's some rare air, bro. It's an amazing feeling to be in that building and to see a lot of the bust and see the gear and the moments throughout history, man. And it's really dope. And I'll end this I'll honor Willie Mays with this. So for those who don't know about Willie Mays' legendary career, you may have heard of The Catch.
Oh, the box.
Yeah, you know where I'm going with this.
During the world. I'm not even gonna. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
So
let the people know. Let the
people know, man. Man. So in the World Series, in the 1954 World Series, the Giants. So this man was playing center field, and a deep shot was hit. Deep shot out to center field over his head. The fields were bigger. So I think it was 2 men on, and this was like the 5th or 6th inning, and they were down. So like if he didn't, so just know if this ball would have dropped, the game would have been wide open, and they probably would have lost this game.
Right.
But so boom, I hit a deep shot. Boom, he turns his horse, turns the hips, puts his head down. He's eating it. Looks up, tracks the ball. Not many people can do this. You can see this in football, but not many people can do this in baseball. Running full speed.
During my heyday, I did it a couple of times.
Yeah. Just bring some witnesses on the show, bro.
Yeah.
So my man, they call this the basket catch. Just right over the shoulder, dropped into the glove, boom. The catch, historic, and they win the World Series. It's one of the purest baseball plays in baseball history. So this is how important Willie Mays is, man. One last thing. So, the reason why Willie Mays is so important, not only for the catch, not only for, the 12 Gold Gloves, 24 All-Star Game appearances, 660 home runs, 302, batting average. Just to put this in perspective, P, over his 22 seasons, he made an estimated amount. His career earnings were an estimated $3 million. $3 million, bro.
That's crazy.
For his greatness. So that was a steal. That was a steal. He should have been paid what? Hundreds of $1 million back then. But I say that to say this, man, compared to some of the, why we have to pay honor to is because I'll point this out. David Price is the highest paid black player in the Major League Baseball today with averaging $32 million a year. So to go from Willie Mays' greatness, the catch, all the amazing accolades, only over 22 years, only making $3 million, and for one season, David Price doesn't play full seasons anymore.
Right.
He doesn't play full seasons anymore. Makes $32 million. So we salute him we salute Willie Mays for his influence, what he had endured, and how he paved the way for black athletes today.
Right. And that's why, like I said, I had to highlight Curt Flood because he opened the door for for cats to make all that money. You know what I mean? All the sacrifices that they've made. But yeah, man.
So talk to him a little bit more about free agency, bro, and what that is and why that's so important, today.
It's important, man, because and I've been emphasizing this a lot with with the organizations. These organizations, all they care about is what can you do for me later. You know what I mean? So you as a player is wanting to make it to your free agency, healthy, so you can make the most money that you can possibly make. So you see, like for instance, you baseball. Baseball is one of the highest paid. Like you look at Mike Trout. Mike Trout's one of the highest paid baseball players right now. He didn't make it to free agency because the team made sure that he was taken care of. But players, that's what a lot of players fight for, and that's why you look at Dak Prescott that just got hurt. Everybody was talking about free agency. Everybody's talking about him making his money, and that's why it's important to try to make it to your free agency healthy because nobody's going to lowball you. Now you look at Dak Prescott is a possibility that he won't make the money that he was supposed to make as a black quarterback or as a quarterback, period. So that's important when it comes to free agency, when it comes to all sports, not just football, but all sports.
All facts, P. That's real. Free agency is so just to build on that. It's incredibly important to have a choice.
Right.
Right. Just to put it in perspective. At any point, most of us have the opportunity to leave our places of employment and go find another job.
Better pay.
If you can find better pay. And negotiate that. So that's why free agency is so important. It gives you a choice of where you want to take your talents. So that's why it's so important for players to really exercise their right to free agency, man. And obviously we want everyone to perform and live out live out their contracts and earn their money. But it's, at the same time, you have to protect yourself, and you have to give yourself the best opportunity and to maximize your earning power, because we all know whether you're in professional baseball, basketball, football, soccer, at any given time, at any given play, your career can end just like that.
You're just one injury away.
One injury away, P. And there was many times where I've sprained the ankle, or I had a few injuries, broken thumbs, sprained meniscus. And when you have those moments, it's like, damn, am I ever going to be able to play the game again? So imagine if we were professional athletes, P. Making millions. This is our jobs. We're taking care of our families. We're building businesses, and if we hurt ourselves, then
it's a wrap.
You're not gonna make that type of money that quickly. Anywhere else, unless you're really good at the stock market, and if you're able to build a booming diverse portfolio of businesses. So this is why it's so important. This is why free agency is so important. And to continue in our spirit of Black history, I want to give everyone a quote and just talk about why this is so important thing, because it ties into why free agency was so important. And P, I also just want I want you to weigh in on this too, on what this means for athletes, and even yourself. So this quote is by Marcus Garvey. If you have Sorry, start over. If you have no confidence in self, you are twice defeated in the race of life. Marcus Garvey. Um, so you mentioned earlier, a few players that I just want to also continue to highlight. So um, the Michael Jordans, the LeBron Jameses of the world, the Kobe Bryants, the Shaqs, um, the Mayweathers, the Muhammad Ali's, the Kirk Floods, Naomi Osaka, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Willie Mays. In order to play professional sports or just to compete and play sports in your local, at your local park in your local community against your friends or whoever, um, it starts with the main thing is confidence.
Mm-hmm.
You can't there's no way you can step on the field, step on the court, and not be confident in your ability to win, because you'll get eaten up out there. Nobody steps on the court to lose. So that confidence in yourself to perform um, pushes you to be great, pushes you to be, a value on your team, pushes you to really understand or push to understand what a champion is made of. So can you speak to a time when your confidence was at an all-time high whenever you stepped on the field of the court?
Well, I'm gonna start where my confidence was just nowhere. I'm gonna start from there. I remember when I first started playing baseball. I had to be probably like 10 years old. So this is organized baseball. This is my first time playing any sport organized. So me going out there that first year was just I was just shook. I was just scared as fuck, man. I would go up I would go up to the bat, scared. Like I wouldn't even stand close to the plate. I was damn near outside of the batter's box, damn near walking to the bench. That's how scared I was. And that's, I didn't have the confidence. I didn't have none of that. So it took for me to, that summer after the season was over, playing, pick up baseball with you guys and just trying to, kind of master my skills. So once I got to that point, I was like, yo, what am I scared of the ball for? I can, you know what I mean? Like, it'll be a little bruised, but I'll be all right. So that next season I came back, I was just dominating. I was just dominating. Went to the All-Star game that year. I remember that All-Star game, I had a home run. It was crazy because it was, my whole family was there. My grandmother came down from New York, cousins and everybody was there. Hit a home run. And Jafet can tell you, man, I remember when I hit the home run, I couldn't even I can I couldn't even chill. I ran the bases. You know how you hit a home run and you're supposed to just cruise and just act like you've been there before? Nah, bro. I ran the bases, my hands raised, full speed, bro.
Yo, you full
speed, bro.
Full speed.
Full speed, bro. Oh, man. It was crazy. And from that point on, bro, I just, my confidence every year just went higher and higher. And it was just like, once I turned, I want to say 17, 18, bro, I was just like, nobody could fuck with me. That's the mentality I have. I was in center field, like people hated me because I was on some Andrew Jones shit. I'll look at the baseball like it's nothing, catch it like this, catch it like that, making it look easy because that's how confident I was because I would be practicing, from night to day. You know what I mean? But it was just, and you definitely need that confidence when you're playing sports. You definitely, because if you don't need it, because that next man is gonna chew your ass up. Whether it's a pitcher, if you're playing baseball, if he has more confidence in you, you're going to be looking stupid as shit.
Thanks, man. Thanks. So, yeah, speaking of confidence, P, we're going to jump right into it. We're not even going to take a break tonight, folks. We're all in. But before we go in and jump into this other major topic that happened this week, for those just joining us, please go. I'm not even saying please. I don't know why I'm saying please. Go subscribe to our YouTube channel, Talk Your Shit Sports Podcast. Go subscribe now. Go see all our videos, all our content, man, and lock in with us, man. This is an amazing journey that we're on. This is the People's Podcast. This is the People's Platform for all current and former athletes, coaches, trainers in all sports fans. So come lock in with us. Follow us on IG, the Talk Your Shit Sports Podcast. That's Talk Your Shit Sports Podcast all over on IG and on Facebook. Come lock in with us at Talk Your Ish Sports Podcast, Talk Your Ish Sports Podcast over on Facebook, man. You can find us on Spotify, Anchor, and Apple Podcasts. Again, you can find us on Spotify, Anchor, and Apple Podcasts. P, Rams, Lions trade. Jared Goff's out of there. Matt Stafford gets a lifeline after being drafted number 1 overall in 2009. And Jared Goff was drafted number 1 in 2016. So this is a rebirth. What's going on with the Rams, man?
Rebirth for who?
They're saying this is a rebirth for Stafford. They're saying that this is the Rams are going all in. They want to capitalize on this defense. They're saying Aaron Donald is getting a little older. You can't waste the prime years of Jalen Ramsey. Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp are playoff Super Bowl ready wide receivers. The emergence of rookie running back Cam Akers, and Sean McVay. 3 playoff appearances, 1 Super Bowl appearance in the first. Was it 3 years, 4 years? So he's digressed a little bit. The team has digressed, and they traded away Jared Goff in 2 first-round picks
after they gave him all that money.
After they gave him all that money 2 years ago.
They gave him the bread.
After the Super Bowl, they gave him the bread. They gave him the bag. But the thing is once Gurley, deteriorated and they traded away, Gurley. They cut. Gurley last year, it just went downhill in defense.
Was exposed.
Bill Belichick gave the league the blueprint. Hey, this is how you stop Jared Goff. So
that was exposed. But
what do you think about the Rams, man, in that trade?
I think it helps the Rams, and now they have a 2-year window, maybe, depending on everybody's health across the board, offense and defense. But I just felt like Goff had to go because he turns the ball over all the time. And you have a good defense. You can't keep that good defense on the field all the time. You have Aaron Donald. To me, he's Pat Mahomes might be he's the best player in the football. But then after that, Aaron Donald, he's the best. No one can stop Aaron Donald. And mind you, D, you're the football guy. He's playing D tackle. He's not playing outside. He's playing D tackle, and he's dominating.
He's different.
He's dominating, like with the hands, dominating.
He's physical.
And then you have, I think, right now, arguably the best corner right now in Jalen Ramsey. Like, you have a good defense. Don't waste that the lifeline of that defense, because that's what anchors you. Because you get stops because they get stops. Mm-hmm. But when your quarterback consistently throwing turnovers, interception, it's hard to keep that up. But I think they're gonna be all right.
Oh man, I don't know, man. Like I don't know if we can see what everyone is predicting out of Stafford. We haven't seen him, make the playoffs all that often in Detroit. I know he had to go through, Aaron Rodgers, twice a year.
Right.
Still,
he had Aaron Rodgers.
And obviously, we understand him, he's had a ton of coaches, because if you're going, everyone knows, like, if you're a free agent or if you get drafted to Detroit, you're like, all right, my career is probably going to go nowhere until I'm able to get out of here. So I think Stafford's probably had like 5 or 6 coaches, probably like 5 or 6 offensive coordinators. Right. So it's been real nasty up there, man. A lot of turnover on offensive line. So their front office, their ownership has never really been able to put together a championship, roster. But even when they had some decent talent, he didn't do much. Right. He put up a bunch of passing yards, and every now and then, he'll come out with a game-winning drive or a Hail Mary, but not too spectacular. but he's got the bag, and Sean McVay has hinged his career to Stafford, because
Stafford, yeah.
this is if they don't win the Super Bowl, this is a bad deal for the Rams.
So you think it's Super Bowl or bust for the Rams?
It has to be, because they traded away more first round picks. So Jared Goff got drafted in 2016, and that was their last first round pick that they've had. So every season since then, they traded 2 first rounds to move up to get Jared Goff.
Mm-hmm.
They traded their first round picks to get Brandon Cooks. They traded their first round picks to get Jalen Ramsey. They traded their first round picks to get Stafford. Their next first round pick is in 2024. So you're talking about 8 years in between without being able to pick a first round talent. When you're competing in arguably one of the most competitive divisions in the league, the NFC West.
Right.
With the San Franciscos, with the Seattle Seahawks, with the emerging Arizona Cardinals. So it pretty much is, Super Bowl or bust, because you got Russell Wilson. And you got potentially, if San Francisco pulls it off, they may have Deshaun Watson.
That would be big. That would be big.
Right.
But you know what? I think receiving core, I think Goff is going to be better off with Keenan Galladay and Marvin Jones, because I think they're better than
Galladay's a free agent. He's out of there.
Oh, Galladay's a free agent.
Free agent.
Be interesting to pick him up.
He's not re-signing. He's like, I'm out of here. I'm good.
Yeah. Nah, he's solid. He was solid.
But this trade. So what do you think? So Goff, Stafford gets traded for essentially 3 ones, 2 first round picks, and a number 1 pick in Goff. So that's 3 first rounds, essentially. So what do you think? Does this set the market for Deshaun Watson?
Oh man, you have to get a house. You have to give the house. Is Deshaun come on? You gave up what, 3 ones for Goff? Come on. Now you set the bar up high for any team that's gonna try to go out and get Deshaun Watson. Because Deshaun Watson, like I said before, to me, it goes Pat Mahomes. It goes. I don't even want to put him in the list, but he's top. He's in the top 10, top 5 quarterbacks.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
In the NFL.
Yeah, he's
top. I don't want to list him because it was a lot, and then it was. But he's a top 10 quarterback.
He's top 5. I mean, he had the MVP
top five. Top 5. Goff is nowhere near. He's not even sniffing top. He's not top 10. That's JB's guy. That's JB. He messes with Goff, but JB. But you have to give the house, man, because the man he's a baller. And if you don't think he's a baller, look at this year with no receivers. The numbers that he put up. The numbers that he put up with they traded away his number 1 in Arizona to Arizona, and he still balled.
Yeah. The fact that they traded DeAndre Hopkins was wild, and they didn't even trade him for a first round pick. They traded him for a second. How disrespectful can you be as an organization to trade a top 3, top 4 wide receiver, arguably the number 1, 2, not 2 receiver in the league? So how do you do that?
I don't know. And you see how he balled in Arizona. Come on.
Wild, man. So yeah, shout out to in the spirit of Black History Month, man. We are rooting for Deshaun to get out of Houston.
Free Deshaun, man.
Free Deshaun.
Everybody wants out of Houston.
Yeah, it's wild, man.
Everybody. I don't know if the strip clubs are not popping down there no more, man. They're like, yo, I'm out.
It's these front offices, man. So you got the Houston Astros going through their last couple of years they went through their scandal, their cheating scandal. Embarrassed the city and embarrassed Major League Baseball. You got Harden in the Rockets. You know, him playing with multiple superstars and Dwight Howard and the CP3 and Russell Westbrook and just still coming up short in the playoffs. You know, not being able to get over the hump. You know, and get past the Western Conference Final and secure a championship. And now you have Houston, man, who've always who've been I have always been a dumpster team, but for the last couple of years, they made the playoffs 2 out of the last 4 or 5 years, and just haven't been able to achieve any real success. So, we got he's in his prime, he has his leverage, and we rooting for him, man, to get up out of there. But yeah, to pivot, we're gonna pivot to back to baseball. Our childhood love sport. Pete, speak to this for me, man. Because I don't see that much interest in baseball in the younger kids in the Black and brown communities right now. I mean, baseball has always been a national treasure for Latin countries.
Right.
But when you come here to the urban cities, not like before back in the day, but baseball is not as prevalent. It's not as popular. It's not popping. It's not lit to the younger generation. So how can Major League Baseball get these cities back, get kids back interested in baseball?
I mean, it starts from the RBI programs. Back then RBI had was everywhere. I mean, it was everywhere in every neighborhood, right, and all that stuff. And then you had other baseball leagues. Like, I feel like now I see less baseball leagues. Back then it was you can join 3 or 4 different leagues, and now it's like, where are they? I mean, they're not in the neighborhoods no more. So it's like now you have a lot of people gravitating to the basketballs, even soccer, football, because those are still in the neighborhood, and baseball is not. I mean, and I feel like it starts from the roots. You have to start from grabbing these kids up when they're 8, 10 years old, like they did before. That's how they got my attention when I was that age, and I loved baseball ever since. But yeah, I mean, they need to, like I said, get to the roots and try to get back into the communities and make it affordable for these kids. You know what I mean? Because that's another thing. Because it's not easy to, not a lot of people can, afford these aluminum bats and stuff like that. Like, because these bats are expensive, and, these parents, they don't have some of them don't have the funds for, to buy, some bats and the cleats or even gloves, because everything, it's expensive. Versus, you look at a basketball, all you need is your kicks and a ball, and you don't even need a ball. You can just go to the park and play with somebody else. Baseball, you can't really do that.
Right. That's real. Yeah, man. There needs to be an emphasis on creating, more baseball leagues to just generate that interest, make baseball fun, man. Like, there's all these unwritten rules, man. Like, nah, man, infuse this new energy of, just getting out there, infuse the music, infuse the culture into baseball, infuse fashion, just really get it lit like they do in baseball and football, man. Like, let's bring it back, man. Like, more people should be going to, these kids' games at parks, man. Like, that used to be, one of the greatest experiences, man. On a hot July night, you go to Jim Rice, you got a game at 5:30, or you got a game at 7. There's people in the stands. There's
right.
There's hot dogs, there's chips. I mean, there's people at the basketball courts. Like, there's people watching the games, man, and that just made players want to play even more and play better.
Right.
It just raised the level of competition. And yeah, and as you said, yeah, just affordability, man. Like, when I go to Dick's Sporting Goods, or like I go to Modell's, and I'm looking at baseball gloves. Why are baseball gloves $100?
Yeah.
Why are they $120? Why are bats $100, $120, $150? Like, why? Come on. Like, come on. Like, come on, y'all. Let's
Don't forget the bucket bucket of baseballs.
Bucket of baseballs. Why am I paying $50 for a bucket of 12 baseballs? Like it's baffling, man. Like this game has done a lot for not only our community, but it's just done a lot for this country. And we need to get back to some of our best athletes need to be playing baseball. Because as you know, for those who don't know, guaranteed contracts in baseball, so you can really get after it and get the bag, and you don't even have to play that long.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
if you can get out of the minors and get to the show, fairly quick. I mean, you can play, 5, 6, probably less, 7, 8, maybe 10 years minimum max if you want, and really cash out. So, yeah, I mean, if that's not an incentive, man, then I mean, I don't know what it is, man. But we thank everyone for Oh, no, I'm saying before we end, we're just gonna just leave. Before we end our Black History Month special kickoff, episode, man. P, man, let's leave the people with some inspiration, man.
Definitely some. No, you skipped my what the fuck moment, bro. I had a what the fuck moment too, bro.
All right, what you got?
My what the fuck moment. It's those buzzer beaters, man. My what the fuck moment was those buzzer beaters from Dame and your boy Russ, man. They were out there just cooking, man.
Brody out here
He
cooking,
was out
man.
there cooking. I was like, wow.
Who the Wizards beat? With that buzzer beater? Huh?
We're gonna get into the
Can't hear you. No. Hold on. You said so. So Dame beat Chicago with the buzzer beater. Who Russ beat with the buzzer beater?
I don't even know, bro.
Oh yeah, they beat the Nets.
They're soon to be champions.
They beat KD. They beat Harden. They beat he beat Kyrie with that buzzer. I mean,
they're soon to be champs.
So the Nets are playing no defense. They
it's
can't.
Fine, bro.
They can't guard a chicken wing.
That's fine.
They're bums, bro. They're bums. They're not making it to the championship. I don't care what nobody says. They're not making it to the championship. They're definitely gonna make the playoffs, but they're not gonna make it to the championship. It's not happening. But yeah, man. So I'm just gonna leave people all inspirational, man, and P, man.
You want to start it off, or you want me to kick one off?
Go ahead, man. What you got for the people, man?
What I got for the people, since we was talking about confidence, this is my quote. The best way to gain self-confidence is to do what you are afraid to do. Just step out and just be like, F it, man. F it. I'm going to be great at whatever I have my mind to. If I want to be the greatest painter in the world, I'm going to go out and accomplish that. I want to be the greatest baseball player in the world. I'm going to practice. I'm going to bust my ass, in the baseball field and be just that. I mean, don't doubt yourself. I mean, in order to be successful in life, it starts within. You have to start within. You have to believe it, and then manifest it.
Facts. And my inspirational for folks is is a quote from as I mentioned, the greatest basketball player of all time, arguably, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I think that the good and the great athletes are only separated by the willingness to sacrifice. The Muhammad Ali's, the Willie Mays, the Hank Aaron's, these guys were able to not only sacrifice their respect and honor, sometimes on the field and in the ring, for what they were enduring. From Jim Crow and just the racism, the segregation, the economic, just being, blackmailed in business sometimes, man, and how they treated, how they paid, black athletes back then. They paved the way for, all our high paid athletes today. They paved the way for, just painting the picture of what it takes to be great. And how much time and work that you have to put in on your craft. We wouldn't have the LeBron Jameses. We wouldn't have the Michael Jordans or the Kareem Abdul-Jabbars. We wouldn't have the Steph Currys if, they didn't understand how much sacrifice and time they had to put into the game. So, We leave y'all for that, man. So go ahead and be great this week, y'all. Be great this month. It's Black History Month. We're gonna continue to rock out and celebrate, our all our Black athletes and trainers and coaches. So continue to lock in with us. Go follow our YouTube channel, the Talk Your Shit Sports Podcast YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram at the Talk Your Shit Sports Podcast Instagram account is lit over there. We got content. Come by with us. If you want to submit a video, a hot take on any topic, man, send me a video and we'll definitely post and keep this conversation going, man. We just always want to talk and debate and analyze what's going on in the sports world, because it's very important to how we live our lives today. So again, lock in with us on our YouTube channel, Talk Your Shit Sports Podcast YouTube channel. Instagram is the Talk Your Shit Sports Podcast on Instagram. On Facebook is the Talk Your Ish Sports Podcast. You can find us on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. And again, you can find us on Anchor, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Go lock in with us on our YouTube channel to find all our videos, all our content. Talk Your Shit Sports Podcast. And it's lit, man. We thank y'all for tuning in. And we're going to catch y'all next week. We definitely had to, so this week, for those who know, we had to reschedule our special guest, Sprills Inc. CEO, Thomas Washington. So we'll definitely reschedule that and get him back in, him back in the studio. But continue to lock in, and we thank y'all for all the support. All our fans worldwide, man. It's amazing that we, all the support that we're getting. And it's just no surprise that we have some of the most amazing fans, P. So we salute everyone, and we out, man. You guys have a good night.